Hello again. There is no evidence that Lee Harvey Oswald had ever shot at a moving target even once in his life before he shot at John F. Kennedy. There's a world of difference between shooting at a stationary target and one that's moving. Have you ever fired a rifle at a moving target? You understand how difficult this would have been for anyone who had never even practiced it. You understand how impossible the odds are that Oswald hit JFK 2 out of 3 times? The government conveniently never mentioned any of this. The Warren report said that Oswald, a man who never had a trial, acted alone. The government wants you to believe that this dork, who again had never shot at a moving target even once in his life, hit Kennedy 2 out of 3 times. And the second hit was a spectacular shot. He had a bolt-action rifle. So he pulls the lever back to eject a shell, pushes it back into place to reload, sets, aims, and fires. This had to be done fast. And they claim Oswald was such a marksman that even though he was behind the president, he made Kennedy's head snap back. Yes, of course. And he did that under the enormous pressure of shooting at the head of the President of the United States. The feds want you to believe he was just as cool and calm as if he was down at a rifle range. You honestly don't believe that nonsense, do you? Then there's the second part of the big lie. The government failed to protect Oswald. This man was accused of murdering the President of the United States. Plus, he was also a cop killer. If they wanted to keep the suspect alive, the whole area around the jail would have been on total lockdown. Instead, they just let Jack Ruby walk right up with a gun and kill him. He would have never got close to him. But of course, since Oswald was dead, there never was a trial. Never a chance for defense attorneys to cross-examine government witnesses and bring in their own. It would have been nice if the people who said that the shots were fired from the grassy knoll would have been put on the witness stand. With Oswald dead and no chance for a trial, President Johnson ordered the Warren report. Their job was to pretend that they were going to have an unbiased investigation, then conclude that Oswald acted alone. No mention would be made that he had never practiced shooting at a moving target. Of course not. That would have blown up their whole fake report. So who wanted Kennedy dead? There was organized crime. When JFK was elected president in 1960, he appointed his brother Robert as Attorney General. In his new role, Bobby began a very public attack on the mob. There's a prime suspect, but there were others. Now, in that era, the government lied about blowing up nuclear bombs above ground in Nevada. They knew full well that people would die from cancer because of this, but they lied for years before they finally admitted the truth. Then they lied to get us into the Vietnam War, the same way they lied years later about Iraq. Considering how many Americans died because of their lies, why take their word about the JFK assassination, especially when their story has a giant hole in it? Maybe someday we will find out the truth. But there's one thing you can be certain about concerning the assassination of JFK. Lee Harvey Oswald did not make that third shot. Not possible.
Where were you on November 22nd, Mr. Dodd?
I was standing on the underpass, Commerce Underpass in Dallas, Texas.
Were you there alone?
No, I was along with 3 friends of mine.
Railroad men?
Yeah, all railroad men.
Mr. Holland was one of them.
That's right.
And did you see anything which might indicate to you where the shots came from?
Well, we all 4 seen about the same thing as the shots. The smoke came from behind the hedge on the north side of the plaza, and a motorcycle policeman dropped his motorcycle in the street with his gun in his hand and run up the embankment to the hedge. And then I went north to look around the corner to see if there's anyone behind the hedge, and met special agent at the Katy Railroad, and he went down there, and I walked along with him to see if there were any tracks there, in which there were tracks and cigarette butts were laying where someone had been standing on the bumper, looking over the fence or something.
Were you questioned by agents of any government agency on November 22nd, Mr. Dodd?
Yes, we were. We were taken over to the courthouse and questioned by, I suppose, Secret Service men of some kind. And they asked me quite a few questions, about the same as I've told you men here today.
But you were never called as a witness by the Warren
No,
Commission?
I never was called.
Because here's the Warren report, and in the index your name is not listed, and there's no reference in the whole 888 pages to the fact that you were up there and you saw what you saw, you heard what you heard.
Well, I don't know about that. But there was something that looks to me like that going on there, that somebody should have found out something.